The Buffalo Bills who win
by Singletary, and it's caught for a touchdown. Cole Beasley. Here they come. Down he goes. Corkscrewed in by the rookie and Oliver.
Singletary in the backfield. He gets the handoff. Tries the left side to the 5. To the end zone for the touchdown.
Allen, he's going to run it. Can he get in there?
Something down in 13. Allen going deep, and he's got him. Touchdown! John Brown, what a catch!
And he tosses that one up towards the press box.
Buffalo Bills.
Shut up!
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the actual debut live episode of the Bills Yak Podcast. Now, if you guys been following us on Spotify and iTunes and listen to all our opinions, you'll know that we've been dropping a lot of dimes lately, that we feel are dimes at least. But we wanted to bring it to the live stream and see what we could do with it. But if you guys don't know these guys, I want you guys to get familiar. We got my guy James Malley. I know you guys have seen him on the Cold Front Report. James, what's going on? Like to call it NFL pedigree?
What's up? Let's get it, JT. You know what it is.
That's right. Now, the guy you guys now, we're actually introducing Greg to the Cold Front audience. You know, he's part of our team now. Greg, the sports bullies like to call him Boucher. Greg, what's going on?
What is going on? I'm glad to be here. Just a little disclaimer for everybody. The camera puts on like 40, 50 pounds right around here. So, see if we can edit that out later.
Hey, now, if you guys don't mind, before we get started, I want you to give a little bit of bio behind yourself, James, and then Greg, you go next with, so people know who you are and what's your football background so they can understand what your acronym is.
Well, I played a little bit. First and foremost, started my youth football with the Buffalo Vets Youth Football Organization. I'm very proud of that, where I'm now the commissioner. Buffalo Vets in the house represent. Also, I went to Kenmore West, where I played high school football. I was blessed enough to get a scholarship to Central Connecticut State University, two-time All-American, Walter Payton Award finalist, a few other things. Was in the 2010 NFL Draft, was ranked 14th by Mel Kiper of all running backs, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then I had a bunch of other workouts, and I ended up played 3 years of professional indoor football, so 4 years of professional football total. And ready to talk a little bit of Bills football now.
All right, Greg.
It's going to be hard to compete with that resume, but I'm a small school product out of Watertown, Connecticut, little tiny town. I played fullback in high school, and I was a two-time All-State defensive tackle in high school. I had a bunch of offers from a bunch of different schools. Unfortunately, my grades weren't very good, and I didn't have a lot of guidance. I ended up going to small school, Division III, Western Connecticut State University. I played defensive tackle. I was a 4-time All-Conference, 3-time All-American. I played in the Aztec Bowl, represented the United States of America. And after that, I had a little bit of attention, but nothing ever panned out. God did not bless me with great height for a D tackle. So I'm here doing this, and I'm loving it.
All right. So, guys, big game this week. Kansas City Chiefs, the Bills have an opportunity.
Hold up. JT, you got to talk a little bit, too. We can't be the only ones talking, JT.
They know me. It's my network. They know me. I ain't got to give a bio. They know me. I've been on this thing for 3 years. If they don't know me, then I don't know where they've been. No, we got a big game this week. All right? This is the Bills' chance to go to the Super Bowl for the first time since, 94s and 85? Something around there? 94, 95. All right? I mean, obviously, we're facing a tall task in Kansas City Chiefs team. I know we're going to get to Greg's. Greg doesn't feel like Kansas City is as strong as people give him credit for. He came out with a great article today that we did post on the Cold Front. So if you did not get the www.coldfrontreport.com, make sure you get over there and check that out. A lot of things happen. We got Patrick Mahomes in concussion protocol. I know we're going to talk about tonight about NFL pushing him through there possibly. We feel like maybe, they kind of pushing him through, they're trying to make up for some of that little Monday they lost this year. We're also going to talk about who the X factors of the game. But let's jump right into it, fellas. Chad Henne, Patrick Mahomes. Do we feel that the NFL is pushing Patrick Mahomes to concussion protocol fast? I know I talked about this, James. I'm gonna let you go first on it. A lot of conflicting reports coming out. Full practice, then limited. Now today's limited. What's going on? What do you think? You think they push him through?
I feel it's a little funny business going on. It was a little ironic to me that he was able to practice in full. Or not full, excuse me, he was limited, but took every single rep on Wednesday. That was real fishy. Usually they're real cautious, especially everything with the head injuries they've been pushing the last few years. So, I know they said that's a nerve in his neck as well, but it's a little funky, man. I don't know. I smell something funky here. They're trying to push him through. Shame on the NFL if that is the case, or shame on the Chiefs or whoever that really falls on. But yeah, I just it don't sit well with me that he was able to take every rep in practice on Wednesday, but was considered a limited participant. So, but Andy Reid said he took all the snaps. So, I don't know. That don't sit well with me.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I feel a little something shady going on. But if you watch the film, because I think we were all watching the game, and he got up, he wobbled, he buckled, and everyone was like, well, "Where was the hit? Where was the hit? Go back and let me see that again." And you go back, there's no real head-to-head contact there. And the reports that I'm hearing coming out is that it's a neck injury, and someone had related to an MMA type of injury where he lost consciousness. So maybe that's the case. I don't know, but I feel like if a player was in that state a week ago, he shouldn't be in the right frame to play a week later. And I think there's probably a little bit of push him through. I don't think anybody outside of Buffalo wants to see Henny take the field. So I'm sure there was some breezing through there, and they let him kind of pass through so they can get this game underway. With all the big stars involved in it, because I mean it's built up to be a great heavyweight match between two good teams, two great young quarterbacks, and I think the league really felt like it, and the powers that be looked at it like, if we don't get Patrick Mahomes on the field, we're really missing a payday here. So I'm definitely skeptical.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it should come as no surprise. I mean, the NFL, we've heard things about money all season, about the salary cap possibly dropping, and why would we think anything would change in this situation, right? This is the biggest. This is probably, I think this game is bigger than that Packers-Bucks game, in my opinion. Okay. I think because this has the future of the league kind of hinging on it a little bit. So I think this game is a lot bigger than that game over NFC. It's a great matchup. It's something we look forward to for years. But both of those guys on the tail end, these two guys are possibly playing for the face of the NFL for the next 10 years. This may be the start of a Brady Manning type of rivalry. We don't know, but they need Patrick Mahomes to play. And I know a lot of people say all week, we want to play the best. We don't want any excuses. And I know in the last pod, Greg, you said, listen, there ain't no excuses. It's not our problem if he's not on the field. I mean, you still sticking to that?
I mean, that's football. Listen, if we win the Super Bowl and we get through no Patrick Mahomes Kansas City Chiefs team, in 2-3 years, no one's going to give a damn and care about that Patrick Mahomes didn't play. Certainly not me. So, you could say, oh, we want to beat the best team. Listen, that sounds great, and it might be a good game to watch. I want to see my team advance, and if one of the best players in the game right now can't be on the field, then hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles, man. I'll take that all day long. It ain't gonna hurt my feelings.
James,
as a competitor, I want him out there. As a former player, you got to be out there. I need your best. Don't give me the second hand guys. I want the best. Let's get it. I mean, best against best. As a competitor, but I mean, if we want to go by the NFL been pushing with this concussion thing and the whole protocol and protecting players, I just feel that the way he was drunk, he was staggered. I don't think. I mean, you really got to be cautious with that. But I really don't care if he is as a fan. I don't care if he's out there or not. I just want the Bills to go out there and win. Period. With Mahomes, without Mahomes, let's go out there. Let's take care of business and let's get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. If this was Josh Allen, I don't know how many people would have felt sympathy for us. Exactly. I don't think anybody would have cared. I think the media probably would have said, "Well, it doesn't matter. Buffalo's going to lose anyway." That's what I personally feel. That's what I feel they would say. I just, I don't get it.
I feel like Mahomes is a new Brady. They're going to do everything they can to take care of this kid and build him up and hail him with kid gloves. And I feel like the referees treat him the same way too. He's kind of Brady in the making, where he's going to be bigger than the game. And I feel like if that was Josh Allen in that circumstance, football would have moved on. So that's football. You got to beat who you can beat, and it is what it is. So.
Right. I mean, no one could add any sympathy for us when we played them the first game and they said, hey, the Bills lost to the Chiefs. That shows that the Bills weren't real, right? They kept that narrative for the rest of the season, essentially. But we didn't have a healthy Tremaine. We had probably a 70%, 60% healthy Tremaine Edmonds. We had no Matt Milano. We were missing a receiver that game too, weren't we?
And I think we were a corner.
Yeah, Trey White had a bad back. Norman was out. We were missing a whole slew of people. They didn't say anything about us. Like, they just kept that narrative. So, as we say, if Andy Reid's a Hall of Fame coach. Yep. Okay, the Kansas City Chiefs is a Class A organization, right? And in Buffalo, Sean McDermott always says, "What next man up?" If Big Red is a great play caller as he is, they say he is, then guess what? He'll figure it out, right? But the problem is you need him to play because you realize Baker Mayfield is not Josh Allen. That's one thing we found out, in my opinion, last week. Baker Mayfield will be a very good quarterback in this league for a very long time. But I don't know if he'll ever be great, and I don't know if he'll ever be as good as Patrick Mahomes or what Josh Allen is going to be.
I believe Baker Mayfield, he's going to be serviceable. He's going to be a good quarterback in the National Football League. I mean, I think we all can agree with that. All three of us can agree with that. But the way Josh Allen's playing, I don't think Baker Mayfield will ever have a season like this. To be honest with you, I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion. But I think those are two totally different monsters, man. And I'm excited. I'm excited for Josh Allen to go out there and really show. I think he really show the world now. Everybody's gonna be watching this game. Now he can really show what he got. And we can really put this team on the map, man. They go out there and just ball out, man, and let everybody know that Josh is for real. And we stole him with the number 7 pick. He should have been the number 1 pick in the draft, like Mel Kiper said.
Yeah.
I guess you make a great point, man. There's so many storylines to this game. The youth matchup of the two up-and-coming quarterbacks, the traded draft pick between Buffalo that let Mahomes get picked up by Kansas City, especially when Buffalo was looking for a quarterback. So there's a lot of storylines at play here. Is this going to be the Manning-Brady type AFC rivalry that we're going to see for another decade? So there's a lot going on here. And I feel like if after this game, in the football gods say Kansas City's going to move on, the Buffalo Bills will go back, in a sense, in the media's eyes, as kind of that, you're still at the kids' table. If Kansas City loses this game, I feel like they don't really lose much in the media's perspective. They're still going to be the darlings. They're going to make excuses for them. The Buffalo Bills need this game, I feel, a lot more than Kansas City does to maintain this pedigree that we're after.
Almost definitely. I mean, this is Buffalo's time because even though they've gone 13-3, even though they've beat a lot of good defenses in the league this year, where the stats say it all about the number of the high-ranked defenses they played this year and they've dominated. Even though Josh Allen's stats says that he's probably second, if not the MVP, top MVP vote getter this season and the MVP of the league, we're still not getting that respect. And I want to play a clip from Jerry Hughes today, and he seemed agitated, and this is kind of the way I think this team is feeling and have been feeling about not getting the respect they deserve. And I think they like it that way. It fuels them. So I'm going to play a skit from Jerry Hughes that was uploaded by Ashley Holder from WGRZ, and check out what he had to say.
That's been the way experts have always viewed the Buffalo Bills. They write us off. And I think that's perfect. Like I told the guys last week when Dion did his spiel about how we're going to give up points and we don't play defense in Buffalo. These guys don't watch us. They don't know anything about us. They just want to see what they want to see. So they think Kansas City is the top dog, and that's fine. Let them have all that talk. Let them take up all the airways, pumping up Pat Mahomes, pumping up Kelsey, pumping up Tyreek Hill. And, those guys are great players, so you can pump them up. But, once it comes time for Sunday and the Bills Mafia knows who's coming out there to play some football, and it's us. You know, we pin our ears back and we get after you. We get after you for 4 quarters, and that's just how we go. So we like that the experts, you know, don't respect us, don't want to acknowledge us, don't want to give us credit. That's fine. We'll just keep punching people in the mouth until we get that credit, and that's just how we're going to be.
That is not a nice look in Jerry Hughes' face. That is not a good look in Jerry Hughes' eyes. A guy's coming off what he had, 3 sacks versus Lamar Jackson.
That's the wrong dude to piss off right now, man. That's the wrong dude to piss off.
Yeah, he's balling.
He's balling. Yeah, that's not a good look. And like I said, this Kansas City team is. I know, Greg, you put a great tweet out the other day about kind of feeling like Kansas City kind of backweighed themselves into the playoffs, almost like Pittsburgh did in a way. Obviously not to the level the Steelers did, but they're vulnerable. This is a vulnerable team. I want you to talk about that tweet a little bit and what you felt about their last 8 games or their season entirety.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everyone's heard about this great Kansas City juggernaut, and I said, don't get me wrong, they're 14-2. They got a lot of great players, just like Jerry Hughes said. They got all that talent. They got all those players. But when you really start dissecting and peeling the onion back, I looked at the midway point. I thought that was a good gauge between our midway point and their midway point. Halfway through the season, after they beat up on the Pittsburgh Jets, they didn't win another game for the rest of the season by more than 6 points. And I thought that was absolutely telling that this team, okay, they ended up winning those games, but they're very, very set up for failure. That they've barely beat these teams. They've scrapped out and they pulled out a last-second win against Atlanta, a bottom dweller in Carolina. A lot of games that they were really set up to lose. Now, obviously, okay, great teams find ways to win. We could say that all day. And I'm not taking anything away from Kansas City, and I'm not calling them crap by any means. But I think if you really look at the production between the half season that Buffalo had, where we were out there putting it 2 teams, winning by 19 points on average for our last half of the season, and you look at what Kansas City was able to do the last half of their season, you know, I think the experts are just kind of going with popular opinion here and not really looking into what has Kansas City really achieved, what they've achieved. You know what I'm saying? And I think Buffalo Bills are, like Jerry, you said, they're going to keep punching people in the mouth. And I think after this game, when they go out there and they upset this team, I think the narrative is going to start changing nationally about this Buffalo Bills team.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, you have to change the narrative. You don't have a choice. And actually, Kendall Riggleman makes a good point here about the national media. He says Skip and Shannon were talking about Josh Allen being a number 5 pick and Diggs' contract up after the season. That's how much the mainstream media knows about Buffalo. And I think he's right on point with that. If you listen to a bunch of these guys, they don't pay attention to what happens here. They really don't. When I watched that weak ketchup and mustard spray by Nick Wright, where he just get the ketchup and mustard off me. It's so weak. It's a joke. It's like they want to use Bills Mafia to build themselves up because they know if they say something that Bills Mafia is gonna come out swinging on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and it builds their, I don't know, gets them to the algorithm, if you want to call it that, where it builds their platform for them. But they don't actually take the time to actually understand Bills Mafia, study it, and actually see what Bills Mafia is really about. And I think they take it as a joke. And I think, like Jerry Hughes said, you're not going to get that respect. You're not going to get the respect of the team. We don't even get that respect as a fan base. It's like people like, oh, it's almost like they're like, oh, that's cute. They're cute. We've been some of the best fans in the NFL for the last 40 years. Where have you been? I can show you a lot of fair weather Dallas fans. I can show you a bunch of fair weather Ravens fans. Hell, if you're a Raven fan, can you tell me if you were a Cleveland Brown fan before you were a Raven fan? Because that's the only way it makes sense, right? All these Tampa Bay fans come out the woodworks. We both live in Connecticut, Greg.
Yeah.
How many Tampa Bay hats have you seen in this last year before this season? We ain't seen nothing like that.
Total transition here in New England, man. Total transition.
It's a joke. It's a joke, and I think we need this. We need this win. We need this win. We need to upset them. And I think that there's 31 other teams around the league that's like, yo, please beat these dudes. I'm sorry, 30 teams around the league saying, yo, please beat these dudes because we can't let them get any more. It's a joke. It's a joke to me. But we want to move on. Did you have anything to say about the Chiefs and their schedule, James, and how you feel about them going to this game?
What was that, JT? I had a technical difficulty. What did you say?
I was just saying, did you want to say anything about the Chiefs' schedule and what they got going on with this game and their schedule as a whole and what kind of team they are going to this?
Yeah, you cutting out real bad. Go ahead, take it, Greg. What was that? Thought you were talking to. Go ahead, Greg.
No, sorry. We're gonna move on. When we talk about this game, right, and we talk about the matchup between Allen and Mahomes, right? We had a matchup a couple years ago. Now, obviously, it was a little different matchup because it was more of a change in regard between Brady and Mahomes. But is this matchup between Allen and Mahomes, is this Allen's coronation possibly? Is this a signature game for him? Is this the start of a rivalry? How are we looking at this? Is this his way to take the crown from him? James, I'll start with you.
I think it is. I think it's a situation where, you got two quarterbacks that's kind of looking to, to take over the throne. They're taking the throne. So this can be that build it up for the future, man. These are the guys of the future. These guys are young. Patrick Mahomes is 25, and I believe Josh is 24. So these guys, they're going to be around for a while. So, and obviously these are two teams. They got young, talented teams. Kansas City young, we young. So we're going to be battling for a while. So this is the kind of setting thing in the future. Like, hey, this is what we're going to be able to watch for years and years to come. Hopefully these guys are going to go after it time and time again. So, yeah, I think that's a good way to put it, man. This is it right here. These guys can set the stage like, all right, y'all, get your popcorn ready because we're going to be fighting for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, every generation hands off to the next generation. And, the Dan Marinos and Jim Kellys had to hand it off to the Tom Bradys and the Peyton Mannings and stuff. And I think we're starting to see this new generation take over. The young kids are starting to come up to the big boy table. And that's great for football. I think that's great for fan bases to have this type of rivalry. I mean, for us as Bills fans, I think it's great to finally have a seat at the table. For so long, we've been waiting for a Josh Allen to arrive. We've been hearing about all these great quarterbacks coming to other programs and do great things and all the success around the league and around the NFL and all these great franchise quarterbacks, and we've been kind of left out in the cold. Finally, we have our guy. We got Josh Allen, and we're relevant and we matter. And having him there in this big game, I feel like this is Rocky Balboa versus, Drago right now, where everyone's, he can't be beat. And we're going to come out there and we're going to go swinging and we're not going to back down until it's over with,
Yeah, I mean, I tend to feel like this is a new rivalry because, like I said, I don't see Lamar Jackson being in this conversation because I just don't feel like that style of play and the coaching he's getting is going to be sustainable over the years.
You don't have enough either, KT.
Right. And I don't know with the coaching and the kind of game plan that they started him off with, I just don't feel it's sustainable going forward anyway. We've seen that game plan, and Greg Roman in particular, as he was here in Buffalo, you get about a year and a half with Greg Roman's game plan, then it's kaput. It's kaput. He has no adjustments to it. I think the only other quarterback in the AFC at this point in time that you could really set at this table is Deshaun Watson. And I mean just quarterback. But the team around him and the organization around him we already know about everything that's going on. And hopefully we don't lose Leslie Frazier to that organization this week. I got a feeling we are, though. And unless Airbnb goes, the Chiefs can lose him. I don't care. Go ahead. He's the only other quarterback in AFC I can say, hey, sit him at this table. I don't see Tannehill. I don't see Derek Carr. I just don't see any other quarterback in AFC I can sit at the table. And I guess it'll be interesting to see what happens to Deshaun Watson because in a couple weeks, a couple months, he may not even be in the AFC anymore. And it will leave these two. So it's gonna be very interesting to see. But yes, this is definitely a rivalry coming to fruition here. But there's one more underlying story, as you mentioned earlier, Greg. So many underlying stories with this game: Andy Reid and Sean McDermott. Now some people will say mentor versus mentee. I don't personally look at it that way. I think Sean McDermott's mentor more or less is Ron Rivera than it is Andy Reid. And I know he started with Andy Reid, but he got fired under Andy Reid. So to me, that's a story too, because hey, this is the guy who fired you. No matter how much respect you have for him, respect each other, he still fired you. There's bosses that I love. If I got fired, yeah, I respect you, but you still fired me. I still got something burning inside of me. James, actually, Greg, start off. What do you think, man?
Man,
I'm sure that plays. Oh, go ahead, James. Go ahead.
He got a lot of fire there, man. I think it's a lot of fire there, JT. I think it's a situation where, hey, if somebody fire you, you cannot tell me McDermott isn't fired up. That dude, he's not sleeping right this week because you want to get back at him. It's like, oh, you want to fire me? I got a trick for you. So I know how he feels, man. I just know if somebody just basically say, oh, I wasn't good enough. Oh, I can show you now that I'm good enough. So if this will be the ultimate aha, I can't say what I want to say. Kids watching. But this will be the ultimate aha. Like I told you so. Kind of rubbing in the face a little bit. But I mean, that would be that handshake at the end. If McDermott win, it'll probably be the most sarcastic smirk underneath that mask we can ever imagine. So I want him to get it for that reason alone, man. Just for firing him, yeah, get after it.
I think this whole team from top to bottom has a chip on their shoulder. And I think Jerry Hughes, illustrated that point great. From McDermott on down to the water boy, I think this whole organization feels a little bit disrespected. And I think from McDermott's point of view, I'm sure that plays into it a little bit, that where he wants to come out and show Andy Reid what a mistake he made, however many years ago it was. And I'm sure that's playing it a little bit. But I think it more or less goes into the respect factor. Sean McDermott loves this team, loves his players, loves his guys, and he wants them to get the respect that they've worked hard to earn. So I think he wants more than anything to win that game so these guys could have that national respect that they're looking for right now. But you could see, I think that's a great thing to feed off of for a team at this point. Like I said, after I heard Jerry Hughes, I wanted to go run through a wall for him, myself. So I think that whole team from top to bottom has that same chip on the shoulder where they want to go out there, they want to smash these dudes. They want to go out there and hit these guys and embarrass them and prove the whole world wrong, prove all the Nick Wrights and all those idiots wrong, that this isn't just a fluke. We weren't just a sexy little story, that we're a real deal team, and that we're going to go to the Super Bowl. We're going to beat the darling Kansas City Chiefs on the road at their house, and all the hype will be behind them, and we're going to go to them, we're going to beat them. And I really, truly believe that. After seeing what I've seen and getting on and how I felt about this team, we're going to the Super Bowl.
No, I mean, it's enough motivation all around, right? I talked to Zoe about this a while back, and he said, he was never a player that needed bulletin board material. But he said there are a lot of players, and if there's a lot of players in that Bills locker room that need bulletin board material, I mean, hell, they've given them a ton of bullets. At this point, they got armored truck, for bullets. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Like I said, I feel like Ron Rivera was more of a mentor for Sean McDermott than Andy Reid was. Obviously, I know that's where he got to start, but he had a success under Ron Rivera, and the fact that he kept pulling people from the Carolina organization, it's like that's kind of where his roots is, in a way. Because what McDermott was a defensive coordinator for 1 season, 2 seasons after the death of the great Jim Johnson, until he was fired. I think 2 seasons, right? Then he was canned. But that's we're talking about a long time ago. We're talking a long time ago. So we'll see what happens. If anybody can scheme up a game plan to stop Big Red, and let's give Big Red credit too. Let's give Andy Reid a lot of credit, because this is one coach who has changed with the game. We've seen so many guys, coming through Buffalo, like Rick Dennison and things of that such, that could not change with the game, and to pretty much to the point now where they're out of the game. We've seen so many coaches this week alone get hired that's, younger than 45 years old, because you need these guys that are changing with the game. I know you spoke about that last week, Greg, on the pod. Andy Reid has gotten better with time. Let's just be honest. He's gotten better with time. And I kind of question now, because I know we talk about Airbnb hiring. Maybe that's why people are not hiring Airbnb, because Andy Reid is so damn good. I don't know. Maybe. Could be. If you guys have any questions, go and start putting them in the chat, because we probably got about 4 to 5 minutes left in this show. And we're going to get ready to wrap it up. So then we'll ask you some of these questions at the end here. Let's see what we want to talk about. We want to talk about the X factors of this game for the Chiefs here. And who do you guys think is more of an X factor? Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce? Greg, who you thinking?
I mean, that's a real difficult question because I mean, you start to lean one way and you say, well, what about this? I mean, Travis Kelce is an absolute matchup nightmare. Size, he could run the routes. He's got phenomenal hands. He's absolute mismatch in the making. But I feel like with our ability, with the athletic ability of our linebackers between Milano and Edmonds, I'm not saying we can completely shut him down, but we can hang with him. I feel like the way they use Tyreek Hill and the things that he's able to do, stretch the field, and we were just talking about Andy Reid is a genius, and he's draws up plays and he exploits defenses better than anybody in the league. I fear Tyreek Hill and his abilities and the way they're going to draw him up on the field more than I do Travis Kelce. So I think Tyreek Hill is your X factor for Kansas City. Shut him down, and we win the game.
I'm going to say Kelce is more the X factor for this game. I mean, if we can control Travis Kelce, I think, that shuts down a lot of the, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. Even though he can't make big plays, that they convert a lot of third downs for Travis Kelce. So if you could take that away from that offense, and you can get them off the field on 3rd down, I think that's a huge factor in this game. I mean, Tyreek Hill, he does it all. We know he's special. He going to have his pop plays. We know that. He's a dude. Elite. We know that. We're not saying that. But if you could take Kelce away from them, that's their underneath game right there. You take it away. So if we could take that underneath game away, that's really, really, really going to put their right arm behind their back. And it's just really, really, really going to make them feel uncomfortable. So that's going to be the key to the game, is try to take him away, and also, just make them play a little uncomfortable, and then go from there. And then that can hopefully force them into mistakes.
I'm going to go on this one. I guess I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to go with Tyreek Hill. The reason I'm going with Tyreek Hill is because obviously the explosive plays. Tyreek Hill is a guy that can catch 4 balls and have 2 touchdowns on those 4 balls. Nothing against Kelce. I understand how he operates in the middle of the field. I understand what kind of threat he is and what kind of day you can have if he gets going. Definitely get it. But Tyreek Hill is an absolute game changer. He's just modern age era of what Deshaun Jackson was for years. 2 plays could be 2 touchdowns. He can punt return. He can run. We saw him run for a touchdown last week. He can take it on a screen and go 90. He can take a deep pass if you blow coverage and it's so many things he can do that every time he touches the ball it could be a touchdown. So that's why I'm going to give Tyreek Hill more of an X factor in my opinion for this game. But when it comes down to it, because Greg has referenced this multiple times, I think you have too, James, that the Bills are more of a bend but don't break defense. I think you're going to give up some stuff to Kelce, but it's less likely to give up much to Hill if you can stand it. We don't see our corners get beat deep too much. We really don't. That's one of the things I can give this defense is we don't get beat over the top a lot. So it's going to be interesting.
We trust those safeties, man. That back end, knock on wood, they haven't let up those big plays, man, because we trust those 2 on that back end, man. Hyde and Boyer is no joke on that back end.
Right. Triggs makes 44 makes a comment on YouTube. When we played zone with 2 high safeties, Hill couldn't really do much, but Kelce was still making plays. So I think if you have to pick a guy that's going to kill you, I'll rather take, in my opinion, I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong about this. I'd rather have Kelce have 8 catches, 107 yards that he had against the Browns, and you sneak out there and win because your quarterback in Cleveland is not elite, and your head coach and your whole team was inexperienced. Because let's be honest with it, the Chiefs faced the inexperienced Browns team last week, a team that's not battle tested at all. But if Tyreek Hill gets 8 catches, how many of those are touchdowns? That's what scares me.
I don't think you could be wrong either way here. I mean, I think, you know what I'm saying? I think you could really make a great argument. And that's the beauty of the question. You could really make a great argument to which one of these guys could do the damage and which one let's make a priority is shutting them down, because they could both kill you. They're professional killers. They could both do it. It's pick your poison, But the one thing we could say that we brought up earlier, last time we played them, we didn't have a Milano on the field. And I think that was a setup for disaster with a Kelce.
Yeah, and now we do. and we're playing at a high level, and we have pretty much our entire defense healthy, and our entire secondary is healthy, which we godly need because we don't know if Sammy Watkins is playing. Sammy Watkins is trying to come back this week. They're trying to get all their guns back, and I feel like I honestly do feel like Kansas City's worried about this game. I legitimately do. I could be wrong, but I do feel like they're worried in a way about playing this game against the Bills. They're trying to get every nick and cranny and piece we can, and I think it'll be interesting to see with Gabe Davis not practicing 2 days this week yet if Kenny Stills active. I personally feel that Kenny Stills should be active for this game, and I'm going to get you guys' thoughts on this as well because Kenny Stills is just a big game player. He always has been his entire career. He hasn't played in many big games, but Kenny Stills is always ready to play a game of football. We've seen Gabe Davis drop a touchdown pass against the Colts. We've seen Gabe Davis drop a touchdown pass against the Ravens. He's young. He's inexperienced. I would rather see Kenny Stills in those moments. So, Greg, I'll come to you first. What do you think about, maybe he's making that swap this week if he's not healthy anyway?
I mean, if Gabe Davis isn't healthy and he's not 100% or close to it, and you have a guy like a Kenny Stills that you can put in there, I would say that's a smart pick. But if you got a Gabe Davis that can go, I would activate Stills for the fact that you got to beat up John Brown to some extent. You got to beat up Beasley to some extent. And now you got to beat up Gabe Davis. You're going to need an experienced receiver who understands how to read defenses and get open. So having Stills, in the bullpen ready to go is the best choice. But I wouldn't sit Gabe Davis unless he was just not 100%.
Right.
Now, for this, I'm going to be a little bit different. Just kind of thinking about it, my brother and I was talking about this earlier. Gabe Davis cannot go. I honestly would go with Duke Williams. You're going to need that big physical guy. Kenny Stills is kind of in the mode of what we got kind of. We got he's different, but we got Isaiah McKenzie, we got Cole Beasley, we got John Brown. Those are our three smaller receivers. If we're going to need that physical guy that's going to have to get a little physical, I would give Duke Williams a shot in this situation, man. And he might thrive. I mean, he's hungry. I honestly would go with him in this type of situation. I wouldn't be mad if we went with Stills. Stills is a beast. But for that type of situation, I might lean towards going with Duke Williams for that big physical threat, especially in the red zone. I'm thinking you will go. I mean, it's not that Stephon Diggs can't make those plays, but I mean, I think I will go with give Duke an opportunity. That's my personal opinion.
There's an interesting stat too about pressure, and this is going to tie into Patrick Mahomes is actually outside of concussion, his turf toe, which is a major problem. I want you to check this stat out from PFF about the quarterback passer rating under pressure. If you're going to blitz, and we know Steve Spagnuolo, he's more of aggressive defensive coordinator. He always has been, and especially when they move around the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. His passer rating is 108.6. We're facing the blitz in the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes obviously comes in second with 74.3. How much of a factor is it going to play if he has his turf toe? And I mind you, you guys play ball. I don't know if either one of you guys have forgot turf toe, but I'm pretty sure you guys seen somebody that has. How much of a factor is that going to play in this game? James, I'll let you go first on that one.
The turf toe is no joke. I think it's going to be a huge factor. If we really can get after him and make him move around and get him a little uncomfortable and kind of – he's going to feel better as the week goes on because they're going to really protect it, get his treatment. He's not really getting too much pressure in practice, so he's going to feel good coming to the game. But once he gets one hit, does somebody really have to get out after him and he has to make that sudden move? He has to really push off that left foot. That's when it's going to really be a problem for him. Really, it is. I'll bring some weird pressure. I would bring the corners. I would bring safeties, people that can really move and get after him. So he's trying to get a little shifty on us. It's not going to be as easy with a corner or safety. So I'll bring a corner blitz maybe, bring one of the safeties, then really get after him. Milano obviously is good at that as well. So kind of get at somebody and make them get uncomfortable quick and really test out that toe, because I think that's a bigger factor than the head, neck, whatever injury that is. I think that's a bigger factor. So I think we need to get at them and get some pressure and let them know, hey, we here to play. We not scared.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I think I never had a turf toe injury, but anytime you have a mobile quarterback and you got a lower extremity injury, and a lot of the success that Patrick Mahomes has is being creative, moving around, improvising. So if you have any type of limitation, to his ability to be mobile, it's a benefit for us. But as I understand it, an injury like that is aggravated easily. So if we can get to him, get him on the ground, put some pads on him, tackle him, rough him up a little bit, we got a good chance of exploiting that injury and having a gimpy Mahomes, which would play into our favor all day long.
Yeah, I mean, they said last week that you can honestly tell that his plant, obviously, my guy Mud Dog said this is definitely his plant foot, that his whole passing motion was changed in a way or altered because of the toe. And like you said, a couple hits there and there. I mean, we've been blitzing. We blitzed Phillip Rivers a ton of times. We blitzed Lamar Jackson. So I would expect them to do different than to send the heat at this guy. And like, hey, as the guy said in the chat here, as Bobby Jones says, knock him off his spot. Make a move, as James said. So that's gonna be a very interesting dynamic as well for this game. But overall, I mean, guys, it's a big game. So I guess we'll get to our 3 keys to we ain't gotta be 3, but whatever your key is to the Bills winning. Greg, set it off.
Limit the big plays. I think first and foremost defensively, we can limit the big plays because obviously there's moving the ball, eating the clock. But as a defense, big plays are absolute backbreakers. They're morally debilitating. If we could limit the big plays and get off the field on third down. I know that sounds so cliche because everybody says it. Oh, get off the field on third down. You got to get off but they say it for a reason. We can't get into a situation like we did last week where we allowed Lamar Jackson convert on 3rd and 19. Those are things that statistically should not happen. We can't allow those things to break our backs. They're going to convert, a few, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5s, but we get them in a situation where we apply pressure and we get a big tackle for a loss or a sack, and it's, 3rd and 18. We can't allow them to convert. We got to win those situations. So I think if we could get off the field on third downs and limit the big plays, easier said than done. But if we could do that, I think Josh Allen and this offense are going to come out the woodwork.
Before I get to James, actually, a lot of people are saying the same thing in the chat. It actually makes sense. I forgot they did bring back Jake Kummerow this week to the practice squad back from Green Bay. So maybe that's your replacement. I forgot all about that, to be honest with you.
Hey, the guy's got 1 catch, 1 touchdown, man. He's got the hot hand, so get him out.
Still perfect, right? So, James, what are your keys, man?
All right, my keys for the game. First thing first, offense. Be you. Be you. Dance with the girl you came to the dance with. Just be you. Don't try to run the ball 30 times because everybody and their mama saying, oh, you need to run, you need to run. Be yourself. Play to your identity. You'll be fine. Defensively, bring pressure. Create pressure. Even if it's our 4, we need pressure. We need pressure up the middle. If those D tackles can create some pressure, that'd be awesome. But we need pressure. And then that'll limit the big plays automatically. Just get that pressure on them. I trust the secondary. I trust them back there. So we just need to get pressure up front. We'll be fine. And also, we need one big special teams play. One big special teams play. That's gonna be that's the key to me is special teams. We know what the offense is gonna do. We know what the defense. We believe we know what the defense is gonna do. Special teams come out and we just crush them on the special teams battle. That's gonna be the factor, the deciding factor of the game.
All right, I guess my keys for this week is going to be, let's keep Stephon Diggs involved, obviously. But if you look at the Chiefs Brown game last week, they bracketed Jarvis Landry pretty well. Now, obviously, I know Stephon Diggs is not Jarvis Landry. I think he's a step up from Jarvis Landry, to be completely honest with you. But John Brown and Cole Beasley, and especially Dawson Knox, because if you look at the numbers last week, David Njoku had 4 catches, 59 yards, and Rashard Higgins had 5 catches for 88. Whichever side that Tyrann Mathieu is at and not helping that cornerback at is problematic for the Chiefs. We know Daniel Sorensen is going to be out there a lot. We seen him the first game. You got to establish the run. Even though Cleveland blew that game last week and they lost it, they averaged 5.3 yards to carry on this team. So they didn't have a problem moving the ball. They just had that problem capitalizing. I think we have to capitalize when we get in the red zone. We have to continue putting points on the board, and I think we just take it to them. Use everything that the media has said. Use all the doubting, all the hate. Put it all on rap and just honestly, come on, just whoop their ass. It's not far. It's not far fetched for the Bills to come out and literally whoop the Chiefs' ass in this game. It's not far fetched at all. This is not the same Chiefs team from the last 2 years. They're still good. Take nothing from them. Take nothing from them at all. They're really good, but they're not dominant like they were. It's Greg. Your stat says it all. Your stat says it all from the early in the season. They've squeaked out a lot of wins. So I think we could come out there. We put Mahomes out. I mean, not put him out the game, but put him out. Dug him off his spot. Put him on his butt. Somebody's going to eat. If it's Kelsey, fine. Don't let them run the ball. Because last week they caught the Browns off guard with Darrell Williams. Stop the run. Knock Mahomes off his spot. And honestly capitalize on offense. If we do that, we'll win this game. And I got full faith. I feel out of this playoffs, the game I was least confident was probably Indianapolis Colts game. I was confident going to the Ravens game. I'm confident going to this one.
I was more. I was less confident against the Ravens. That matchup scared the hell out of me. But seeing what they did against them and the mountain that they climbed, I am all in on this defense versus this offense.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree.
I wasn't confident going into that Colts game, JT. I'm with you. That Colts game scared the heck out of me. The Ravens game, I wasn't really too concerned with it. I knew as long as we contained Lamar, we was all right. I wasn't too concerned about that. That Colts game scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, and you know what? Leroy got Mud Dog put up a very good stat earlier in this show. If you guys caught it or not, Patrick Mahomes leads the league in dropped interceptions. Capitalize on defense if you get a chance. Capitalize on those turnovers. And one thing I'll say about our damn defense this year is they don't drop many interceptions and they don't miss many fumbles. They capitalize. So, guys, this is it. This is our chance to get to the pinnacle. A little ahead of schedule. Some would say a little ahead of schedule. Some would say right on time. But it's our chance. Let's go out there, do what we got to do. And guess what? Operation Tampa's legit and Operation Tampa's ready. Let's do it. But, hey, I'm your host, JT, with my co-host, James, the NFL Pedigree Mallory, Greg, the Sports Bully Boucher. Thank you guys for tuning in to the first live episode of the Bills Yak Podcast. We'll be doing this more often, and make sure you guys keep tuning in because these guys give, like I said, man, these guys got acronyms and accolades behind them. So you want to hear their opinion. And always, thank you for tuning in to the Cold Front Report. And make sure you click that link in the description of this show and go follow the Bills Yak page. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook. We're trying to get those up. So, guys, that's it, man.
Good work. Good work.
Yeah.
Now or never, baby. Now or never.
Let's get it.